Welcome to Everything with Everett. This is a talk show podcast hosted by Everett McConaughey. The purpose of this production is to share thoughts, voices, and information to further a discussion on who we are as individuals, communities, and a global society. Everything with Everett is open to all topics of discussion: faith, science, history, finances, social issues, and, well, everything. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe. Visit everettpodcast.com for all the details.
Welcome back. I am back with you. So we probably all heard the stories about, all the people immigrating across the southern border into the United States. It got me thinking with the parallels of, Rome and America, very successful governments, and this kind of undertone of religious persecution, people fleeing violence and oppression wherever they live, wherever they were born, to find a better life for themselves and their families. And, our balance of extending kindness, but also, keeping our own country stable. So you probably heard of ChatGPT. It's not a new tool. It's been around for a while, but it's a great tool that you can use to write stories, get ideas, really interesting automatic thing. You basically type in what you want it to do, and it does it. If it does it the way you want it to the first time, then great. You got a finished product from them, or at least a launching point that you can then modify yourself. Great way to break some writer's block. Anyway, so I was, kind of inspired by this whole immigration topic, and I was like, what if we had a modern day story of Jesus, but instead of, going to Bethlehem, being in Israel, what if it was coming from South America and coming to the United States of America up north? So here is ChatGPT's adaptation response to my prompt of adapt the story of Jesus to modern day in the United States with him originating from South America. And without further ado, I give you ChatGPT's AI voice.
Modern day adaptation of the story of Jesus. Chapter 1, The Birth of Jesus. In a small rural town in the Andes of South America, a young woman named Maria discovers she is pregnant. Her fiancé, Jose, a humble carpenter, is initially distraught, but an angel appears to him in a dream, assuring him that Maria's child is divinely conceived and destined for greatness. Maria and Jose decide to leave their hometown due to political unrest and migrate to the United States, settling in a small border town in Texas. Chapter 2, The Early Years. Jesus is born in a modest clinic in Texas, and his parents raise him in a close-knit community of immigrants. From a young age, Jesus displays extraordinary wisdom and compassion, often seen helping his neighbors and advocating for the marginalized. Despite their humble circumstances, Jesus' family emphasizes education, kindness, and justice. Chapter 3, The Baptism. As a young adult, Jesus travels to a nearby city where a renowned activist, Juan Bautista, is leading a movement for social justice and human rights. Juan baptizes Jesus in a river, symbolizing his commitment to a life of service. Upon emerging from the water, Jesus feels a profound spiritual awakening, and a voice within him confirms mission to bring hope and change to the world. Chapter 4, The Ministry Begins. Jesus begins his ministry in the streets of urban America, attracting a diverse group of followers, including immigrants, the homeless, and disenfranchised youth. He speaks out against systemic injustices, corporate greed, and environmental destruction, drawing attention to the plight of the oppressed. His message of love, equality, and forgiveness resonates widely, and his following grows. Chapter 5, The Miracles. Jesus becomes known for performing modern-day miracles. He heals the sick using a combination of traditional remedies and modern medicine, feeds the hungry with sustainable farming techniques, and provides shelter for the homeless through community-driven projects. Each act of kindness further cements his reputation as a beacon of hope. Chapter 6, The Teachings. Jesus uses social media to spread his teachings, sharing parables and messages that challenge the status quo and inspire collective action. He emphasizes the importance of compassion, unity, and nonviolence, often quoting from both biblical texts and contemporary philosophers. His sermons, streamed live, attract millions of viewers worldwide. Chapter 7, The Confrontation. Jesus' growing influence attracts the attention of powerful political and corporate interests. He is seen as a threat to the established order, and a coalition of business leaders, politicians, and media moguls conspire to discredit him. Despite the mounting pressure, Jesus continues to advocate for the vulnerable and speak truth to power. Chapter 8, The Betrayal and Arrest. One of Jesus' close followers, feeling disillusioned and under financial strain, is bribed to betray him. Jesus is arrested during a peaceful protest and charged with inciting unrest. His trial is highly publicized, and despite widespread public support, he is convicted in a show trial designed to make an example of him. Chapter 9, The Crucifixion. Jesus is sentenced to death and executed in a high-security prison. His death is broadcast live, sparking outrage and grief among his followers. Protests erupt across the country, calling for justice and reform. In the midst of the turmoil, Jesus' message of love and resilience continues to inspire. Chapter 10, The Resurrection. 3 days after his death, rumors begin to spread that Jesus has been seen alive, appearing to his followers and urging them to continue his work. His reappearance galvanizes the movement, leading to a renewed push for social justice and systemic change. Though his physical presence is no longer with them, Jesus' spirit lives on in the hearts of those who believe in his vision of a better world. Epilogue, The Legacy. Legacy endures as a symbol of hope, resistance, and the power of collective action. His teachings continue to inspire new generations to fight for justice, equality, and compassion, proving that even in the face of adversity, love and truth can prevail.
Really kind of interesting to hear the parallels, and in many ways, at least for me, it seems like we could really use a modern day Jesus. Like the world taking his teachings from the Bible, adapting them to the modern everything, really would make a better place to live for us now and our future generations. So anyway, just something to think about. I'm not going to stump on a soapbox or call out any political persuasions, either side. But let's be mindful of what tomorrow could look like if Jesus was present today. And think about other people with kindness and compassion. Alrighty, I'll talk to you next time. You have a great one. Thank you for following, subscribing, and staying with me.
Thank you for listening to Everything with Everett. Connect with Everett and other listeners on Facebook and Twitter at Everett Podcast. Everett would love to hear from you. Share your thoughts by emailing mystory@everettpodcast.com. You can also leave a voicemail or send a text message to 208-391-2808. Choose to listen, speak with kindness, and have a great day.
Hey there, it's Everett. Thank you for taking time to click on the podcast. Definitely appreciate you supporting Everything with Everett. If you've ever thought about sponsoring a podcast, one of those productions that aren't run by the big corporate media, as little as $12 a month can pay for the hosting service of this platform. If you want to do a one-time donation, you can visit the sponsor of this podcast link on the website. It'll take you to the Venmo page, venmo.com/Everett Podcast. If you want to become a named big sponsor, I would totally love to hear from you. Please email advertising@everettpodcast.com. Again, thank you for listening to Everything with Everett. Enjoy this next episode.